That dynasty's over. We did what we had to do. It doesn't mean, it's not about what it means. You know what it means. You can turn your cameras up to the screen and know what it means. We did this.
Well, this is Jag Me at the Kendrick Lamar and SZA concert in Toronto, Canada at Rogers Centre Stadium. So who's Jagmeet Singh? Jagmeet is a Canadian former politician who served as the leader of the New Democratic Party from 2017 to 2018.
He confirms to me Drake was sending me voice notes talking crazy like he's a mob boss. That's what he says.
So picture this. Kendrick Lamar pulls up to Toronto, Drake's hometown, for not one but two back-to-back sold-out shows at the Rogers Centre, the biggest venue in the city. But while most artists would just brush it off as friendly competition, Drake didn't take it that way. Word started swirling that the Toronto icon was furious. Not just annoyed, but shook. And what really lit the fuse? A Canadian politician showed up to the concert and vibed way too hard to Kendrick's now legendary diss tracks.
No American dude is gonna come to the 6 and claim the 6.
Before fans could even react, Drake took matters into his own hands, sliding into DMs, posting cryptic screenshots, and allegedly putting serious pressure on people in power. At first, it just looked like petty social media drama. But then, the story started to spiral into something much messier. Leaked messages, secret sabotage plans, even wild rumors that Drake's own fans tried to hijack the show. It sounds like a movie, but it's real. And depending on how things unfold, this might be the messiest moment of Drake's career yet. Let's break it down.
Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says he shouldn't have gone to Kendrick Lamar's show in Toronto last week after Drake called him out for.
All right, here's where the drama officially jumps off. Jagmeet Singh, a well-known Canadian politician, shows up at Kendrick's concert right in the middle of all the tension between Drake and Kendrick. No low-key behavior either. Singh's spotted vibing in the crowd, full-on enjoying the exact tracks aimed directly at Drake. And not just any tracks. We're talking Not Like Us, the most viral diss of the whole beef.
At the show? And you telling me that he only listened to the SZA parts and only jammed out to the SZA parts? I wonder if there's gonna be some video evidence that proves that he's full of shit.
Now, most people would have just shrugged and kept it moving, but not Drake. He slides into Singh's DMs and hits him with one word: goof. That's it. One word, all emotion. But then it gets even weirder. Singh actually posts an apology on his Instagram story, publicly. Says he was only there for SZA, not Kendrick. And goes on to say it'll always be Drake over anyone else for him. Which, let's be real, felt more like damage control than honesty. The internet lit up instantly. Fans were like, wait, did this man really apologize just for going to a concert? But it didn't stop there. Some people believe Singh was pressured by Drake's fans behind the scenes, like actual threats were getting tossed around. Whether or not that's true, the whole thing left a sour taste. Drake's trying to spin the narrative, Singh's backpedaling like crazy, and fans are sitting back with popcorn wondering what the heck just happened. But trust me, this is barely the beginning.
Damn it, turn the TV off, turn the TV off. So, it probably wasn't loyalty. The reason why he probably apologized was because y'all probably in his DMs threatening him and getting all mad at him because Drake posted it to his story with his millions of followers, and you guys don't know how to be regular fans. You don't know how to take an L gracefully, so you're gonna sit there and get mad at anybody that shows love to anybody that's Drake's ops. But Drake has a long list of ops, so you guys are never going to
So now that Singh's awkward apology is out there, and the internet's already roasting him, you'd think the storm would settle. But nah, this is where things start unraveling fast. Word starts circulating that Drake wasn't just mad. He was allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes, trying to shut the whole Kendrick event down before it even happened. According to reports, Drake's team supposedly tried to block Kendrick's Toronto shows entirely, like cancel or postpone the concerts just so OVO Fest could take the spotlight instead. But that's not even the wildest part. DJ Academics drops a bomb saying he spoke directly with someone in Kendrick's circle.
Superpowers get neutralized, I could only watch in silence. Famous rapper we once knew us, but the territory, now it's violent. Moving just like a degenerate, heavy intake is feeling distasteful. Calculated, not as calculated. How can you predict your angle?
And this person claims Drake had been sending intense voice notes for months, talking like he was running a secret operation or something. The messages were apparently full of aggressive energy, with Drake acting like the head of a crew trying to protect his turf. And it wasn't just a few offhand remarks. These were consistent, targeted, and sounded like Drake was spiraling as Kendrick's momentum grew. Now, obviously, there's no public audio to confirm all of this, but the fact that this many details started leaking all at once? Yeah, it had fans raising eyebrows. Suddenly, the image of calm, cool Drizzy was starting to crack, replaced by someone who looked increasingly desperate to keep control of the narrative. But he wasn't the only one acting out, because his fans, they were planning something wild. Now here's where things get downright ridiculous. While Kendrick's camp was laser-focused on delivering 2 historic shows, some of Drake's most loyal fans decided to take matters into their own hands. A full-blown OVO takeover was planned. Like, literally. Someone went online and publicly called for Toronto to show up deep at the Rogers Centre before Kendrick hit the stage. The plan? Swarm the venue, blast Drake's music on speakers, wave around signs repping the 6, and basically flex on Kendrick with hometown pride. They even sweetened the deal with free pizza and OVO hoodies to get people hyped. It was loud, dramatic, and honestly kind of unhinged. But when the day actually came, crickets.
Mr. Duckworth, where were you Saturday, 2000?
I don't keep up with dates. I got a million things on. I don't know.
Saturday, May 4th.
I don't keep up with dates.
2024?
Bro, I don't keep up with dates, man. I don't know, man. I'm in the air.
Okay, does this ring a bell? Drop. 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 Drop.
The big takeover flopped hard. Barely anyone showed up. The energy was off, and the so-called movement turned into a quiet fizzle. Organizers tried to save face, saying authorities shut it down. But let's be real, Toronto wasn't feeling it. The city wasn't picking sides the way Drake probably hoped. Instead, the focus stayed locked on Kendrick, who at this point hadn't said a single word. He didn't need to, because when showtime hit, he let the stage do all the talking. And what he delivered next? It flipped the entire narrative. When Kendrick finally stepped on stage, it was like watching someone perform a carefully planned takedown. But instead of fists, he came armed with bars. The first show opened with Euphoria, that slow-burning diss that slices without raising its voice. And the second he hit that spotlight on the stairs, the entire stadium went silent, like they already knew they were about to witness something legendary. And then came the chaos. Mid-show, the red strobe lights flared up, and Kendrick dropped like that, his energy rising with every bar, the whole crowd shouting lyrics back at him word for word. But the real moment, the one that made the internet freeze, was not like us.
According to sources, Drake's camp tried to get Kendrick Lamar's shows at Rogers Centre Stadium in Toronto either canceled or postponed so they can do OVO Fest there. Now, according to sources, attempts by Drake's camp to have both tour shows canceled or postponed allegedly took place in hopes of booking OVO Fest. However, by then, paperwork with the Rogers Centre had already been filed, and no other venue in the city could hold the same capacity. Now, people were questioning who these sources of Justin Tinsley were. He said, "I wouldn't write it if I didn't get the information from those close to the Rogers Centre." If it ultimately is proven to be inaccurate, then I will cross that bridge when it gets here. That's what journalists do. But I trust my sources highly. Now, I don't think this is a far-fetched story at all. I think people on a certain side of things don't want it to be true, because if that is the case, then said person or said camp failed to get it done, so it makes them look bad.
He didn't just perform it, he crafted a whole buildup around it. There was a mock deposition video, someone off camera asking, "Do you remember what happened on May 4th, 2024? That was the exact day Kendrick dropped the track. And the implication was crystal clear. This wasn't a concert anymore, it was a burial. The beat dropped, and the Rogers Center exploded. Toronto, Drake's home crowd, was on their feet, screaming every line like it was an anthem. The same city Drake has repped for over a decade was now echoing Kendrick's lyrics back at him like a rally cry. It wasn't just a win, it was a takeover. But the most humiliating part, Drake had never even performed at the Rogers Center himself. Not once. And now his rival had just sold it out twice and turned it into a live memorial for the rap crown. And that stung way more than any diss track.
Got tickets to the Grand National Tour starring Kendrick Lamar featuring SZA. 2 dates in Toronto. What kind of statement are we making as Toronto broadcasters if we give away these tickets?
We can't do this. As Toronto broadcasters, we cannot give away Kendrick Lamar tickets.
It's wild. Because it's the end of the tour. It's also on Father's Day. You know all those things Kendrick was saying about Drake not being a good father? Mm-hmm. It's a statement. It's a victory lap.
I want to say Drake has put Toronto on the map.
Yeah.
You know, tell us about you. You would never be here.
I probably wouldn't have considered living in this city had it not been for the influence of Drake. Like, at the time where I moved here, Toronto was the utmost of relevant cities worldwide. I was like, oh, Toronto? Absolutely.
Drake donates so much to this city that we don't even know about. Helping communities, helping the Raptors. How about the All-Star game here to Toronto? He has done so much for Torontonians, and we are laughing in his face when we're giving away Kendrick Lamar tickets.
What are we gonna do?
We're done. We're not giving them out. I'm not giving them out.
Here's the part that really drove the knife in. While Kendrick was commanding 2 nights at the Rogers Center like it was his personal arena, fans started pointing out something that made the whole situation even more awkward. Drake, the guy who's practically become the face of Toronto in global music, has never headlined a show at the Rogers Center. Not once. And suddenly, that fact hit different. Because now, it wasn't just about Kendrick delivering great performances. It was Kendrick doing something in Drake's own city that Drake himself hadn't pulled off.
Yo, bro, why are you here? Why are you here?
I'm here to prove that hometown drinking Drake champagne popping 6 got to go. Hey, Kendrick ain't coming to my city. Kendrick coming to our city and doing this. You can't.
Are you from Toronto? Are you from Toronto or no? If you're from Toronto, you know what Drake has done for the city. Drake has put on the city more than Kendrick's ever done anything for Compton his entire life. That's how Drake works.
So while fans were chanting Kendrick's lyrics and waving their phones in the air like it was a victory parade, people online were comparing it to a hometown king getting dethroned in front of his own people. You could almost feel the shift. Like the city, the fans, even the industry had started leaning a different direction. And the energy was brutal. What made it even more surreal was how silent Drake had gone in the aftermath. No response, no cryptic Instagram captions, no subtle shots in the stories, just radio silence, which only made the speculation worse. Because when someone like Drake suddenly stops talking, it usually means something deeper is going on. And that's when we got hit with the legal twist no one saw coming.
This is crazy.
So just when fans thought the beef was cooling down and maybe Drake was laying low to cook up a response, boom, court documents hit the timeline. Out of nowhere, Drake files a lawsuit, but not against Kendrick. Nope. He goes after his own label, Universal Music Group. The claim? That UMG didn't do enough to protect him, that they let Kendrick's diss tracks slide without stepping in, and that they allowed lyrics that supposedly crossed the line. And that's when things got messy. Because if Drake truly felt defamed, why not take it up with Kendrick directly? Why drag your own team into court instead? That's what had everyone confused. Some fans started floating a theory. Maybe Drake doesn't want to take Kendrick to court, because doing that would mean everything gets dragged into the public. Every lyric, every reference, every dark implication would be picked apart in depositions and cross-exams. And suddenly, this beef wouldn't be just entertainment, it'd be evidence. So while Drake's legal team geared up to argue that Kendrick's lyrics were damaging, UMG fired right back. They filed a motion to dismiss, calling the whole lawsuit misguided and saying straight up that Kendrick's verses are protected opinion, not defamation. Now it's in the hands of a federal judge, with a hearing date locked in. And if it moves forward, things could spiral fast. Real documents, real subpoenas, real consequences. Drake's always been strategic, but this move felt less like a chess play and more like someone scrambling to stop the bleeding. And that silence from earlier, suddenly it started to make sense.
Here's the thing. He said, you should, and this is what I don't know. And I'm gonna ask Drake. I'm like, Drake, is this true? He says, you should have heard this, Drake, what he was saying to us before we whipped his. This is what he told me. I said, what do you mean? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never really knew Drake speaking to anybody. Like, Drake has told me he hasn't spoken to Dot directly, but I didn't know about if he spoke to anybody else in and around Dot. Anthony Saleh, he confirms to me, yes, Drake was sending me voice notes talking crazy like he's a mob boss. That's what he says. He says Drake is saying to him, Drake is saying like, yo, I'm gonna done you. Like just talking crazy like, yo, niggas just watch, yo, you guys think you could finish me? Da-da-da-da. Crazy. All of a sudden, they're like, then we drop the bomb, right? Not Like Us.
Now here's where things go from messy to mysterious. Ever since Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, Drake's been completely quiet. No clapbacks, no bars, no slick captions, just silence. And that's not like him. Drake's made a whole career out of responding to shade, flipping it into a hit, and coming out on top. But this time, nothing. That's when fans started connecting dots. And the theory that's been circulating is kind of wild. Some are saying that Kendrick didn't just hit Drake with generic battle lines. He hinted at something deeper, something darker. In Not Like Us, there are coded jabs, references that point toward long-running internet rumors Drake's been dodging for years. And when those lyrics hit mainstream ears, people didn't just hear a diss. They heard an accusation. Now, nothing's been confirmed, and Kendrick never said anything directly, but the implications were enough to send the internet into a frenzy. And suddenly, that silence from Drake felt less like confidence, and more like fear. Because responding publicly could mean opening the door to questions he's tried to avoid. Instead of pushing back on Kendrick, he aimed at his label, maybe as a way to look like he's fighting without actually fighting the person who lit the match. And now, instead of battling on wax, Drake's left trying to clean up behind the scenes, all while the narrative keeps slipping further from his control. But as the legal smoke builds, Drake's not just watching it all play out, he's plotting something. Because he's got a new album on the way, and the timing isn't just convenient, it might be strategic. So here's where things get real interesting. While all this chaos has been unfolding, backlash from fans, an alleged sabotage attempt, a full-blown lawsuit, and Kendrick basically hosting a lyrical funeral in Drake's own city, Drake's been quiet for a reason. Word is, he's been in the studio, wrapping up his next album titled Iceman. And the name alone has people talking. Is this the cold-hearted comeback? The revenge arc? Or is it damage control disguised as confidence? Rumors are flying that Iceman is stacked with subliminals, cleanup tracks, and lyrics aimed not just at Kendrick, but at anyone who switched sides during this entire saga. The goal? To rewrite the story before it's locked in forever. But the question now isn't just whether Drake can bounce back. It's whether fans still believe in the narrative he's selling. Because once someone takes an L this public, this loud, and this well documented, it's hard to walk it back with just a few punchlines. Still, this is Drake we're talking about. He's been counted out before and always found a way to flip the script. But this time, the stakes are way higher, and the clock's ticking. So now we wait. Will Iceman be the rebirth of the sixth god? Or the final chapter in a dynasty that just got dethroned in its own backyard? So what do you think? Has Drake got one more trick up his sleeve? Or did Kendrick just pull off the most poetic takedown in modern rap? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's hear your theories. If you're riding with Drake, tell us why you think Iceman is gonna shake things up. If you're Team Kendrick, let us know what moment sealed it for you. And if you're just here for the drama, you're in the right place. Make sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this wild story. Because trust me, it's far from over.